Beloved, welcome back to the shop. We have had over 5 feet of snow in 2024, just in January alone, and I have been running the guts out of my 249 cat skid steer. Today we're going to be doing or jumping into the 500-hour service. I've got all of the parts, everything ready. So let's jack up the cab and jump into it. Look how smart. That washer on the bottom holds the nut so you don't have to put a wrench on it. Very clever. Boy, that's nice that you can flip that cab out of the way. Now we can get to all of the inner workings. The 500-hour kit I ordered from Cat, they give you everything you need, but they didn't give me an air filter, and it looks like you can clean it. So we'll take a look at that today. We've got hydraulic, we've got, that's the cab, the breather, this is hydraulic, and oil. There's a big heavy guard here that protects the oil plug. We should be able to just flip that out of the way. I fear my oil pan is not going to have the capacity. 3 gallons in the engine, that's going to overflow for sure. So we'll have to just, I guess, put the plug back in, and I'll pour this into the barrel and do it twice. We'll want to take an oil sample. Now, this is something I saw, well, maybe it was 30 years ago or so. Guys started doing it where you can take the oil and send a sample of it into a lab, and they'll analyze it for premature wear. So you can preemptively prevent things from happening, allegedly. So guys say it's worth it. You have to be really careful not to contaminate it. So I wonder how many engines have been replaced because the sample was contaminated. Probably more than a few. I guess this is as good as any. We'll drop this sample off at the Cat dealership and make sure everything's okay on the engine. Boy, these things are, when they say compact, they are compact. I would not want to be working on these things for a living, I think. Normally, it's not a bad idea to pre-fill your filter with oil before you put it on. Problem is this mounts horizontally, so it's going to pour out anyway. So it doesn't say anything in the book about that. But one thing you always want to do, and this is true for cars, anything, is make sure you check that this O-ring right here. That O-ring, they can get stacked up. The old one can stick on the engine, and you can double stick them. So just make sure that when you take the old filter off, it's there, and then put a nice, clean little film of oil on there before you seal it. I haven't worked on a lot of Cat equipment, but boy, everything sure seems to be well designed and easy to work on. Look at this nice little detail. You see these hash marks, 4, 3, 2, 1? The book says once this comes up, once the seal comes in contact with the block, 1 full turn, and you can use these index marks right there to keep track of that. Isn't that nice? I just noticed that this filter is made in France. I hope it doesn't give up on us. I think the book said 3 gallons of oil for this. There's 6, that's half of it. It's one of the best things I own. is this pitcher. You can get these, they're cheap, at the Amsoil. If you go to the Amsoil site on the accessories, they have some really great shop accessories and they're super affordable. But this, after I bragged about it, it's not going to work because I can't get the angle on it. So I guess I need a funnel anyway. This here, gentlemen, is well, my granddad always called it a transmission funnel, and this is what you need to get into these tight spots. This is an essential, you need to have two funnels, a regular one and then one of these transmission funnels. They sometimes it's the only thing that works. My arm's about to fall off holding that thing. It's going in so slow. I'm gonna zip tie this thing up here. Check her level. It'll be maybe a little high since the oil filter's not full, but that's actually a pretty small filter. It looks like we're overfilled. Maybe that 3 gallons was a bit much. Yeah, way too much. Doesn't take 3 gallons apparently. We will have to drain a little bit of that out of there. Very bad overfill. You definitely don't want to do that. Maybe the book didn't say 3 gallons. I just got that in my head somewhere. That's there appears to be more in there than when we started. It's probably 1 gallon. Little 70 horsepower engine. Well, you learn by doing. Oh, goodness. Of course. I got my finger on the hole there, so we're fine. Well, the day wouldn't be complete, would it, gentlemen? Until we had a nice, big, black, diesely, oily mess. Oh, where's the hole? I know where I got that 3 gallons. My manservant, Jariah, ordered the stuff from the cat dealership, and that's what they told him. So the service guy, we'll blame him on it, or blame it on him. Now we're getting closer, but we're still a long ways to go. I'll bet I put 2 gallons too much in there. Good grief, what a waste. No, I'm not going to save it. It's not worth it. The risk of contaminating, and I'm not fooling with that. Still a little bit high, not much though. I'm gonna, just one more. Well, I'm gonna leave it a little bit high, and I'll run it, and then we'll double check it after the filter's full. We'll come back to this. That's one of my granddad's 1/2-inch sockets. S&K, I remember that one. This is the dangerous part of the project. Once you start making a mess, then you kind of throw up your hands and say, what's the point anyway, right? So we'll try to keep from spilling any more fluids, which is very unnatural for me. This here's the fuel filter. There's a float bowl here. One of the big problems with fuel, or one of the concerns, is keeping water out of it. So there is a low point drain on here, I can see, and the fuel pump is on the top. Some of the older machines that I've had a manual fuel pump. So the difference is that you, if I remember right, you don't pre-fill a fuel filter with an electric pump, because once we put the new filter in, let's drain this out so we don't make such a mess. That we'll turn on the key, and then the engine, the ignition will turn on, and that should fill that up, because you can't have any air in a diesel fuel system. It will not run. That's tight. Knipex to the rescue, world's finest pliers. It's not just the build quality, it's that angle. It's that angle that makes all the difference. Shout out to our heavy equipment mechanics, man, it's a difficult job. The guys that work in the field, twice as hard. I've worked around a lot of those guys. That's a rough job. Oftentimes they have to work after hours because the machines, they got to keep running during the daytime. There she comes. I love to have a sight glass. A sight glass gives you the ability to quickly look and see. You can see if there's water in there, because the diesel will sit on top of the water. Oh, having that low point drain is really nice. Can you imagine all that fuel spilling out all over in the belly pan? Looks like there's a wire that runs up in here. Oh, there is. So I've got to unplug that. That's probably a sensor to give you trip an alarm in the cab that you've got water in the fuel. I bet that's a water sensor there. Pretty elaborate filter. You can tell when a manufacturer puts this much effort into something, it's probably pretty important. They're really concerned about fuel. Having dirty fuel is I don't understand Caterpillar's hieroglyphics, though. I don't know if it's just me or my autism or what that is, but that makes no sense to me whatsoever. I'm going to assume it spins off. Oh, that is pretty fancy. That doesn't come off. That's included. New O-rings. Part numbers, 5416956, that's the one. Well, I've got that fuel filter out. I'm gonna try to get this hydraulic filter out. This is gonna make a big mess. There's a drain plug on it, and I tried to get the drain plug off. It just spun, so I don't know how else to do it other than just pour a bunch of fluid on the ground here, but that's the way it's gonna be. I guess I could hold that with that other, I don't think I have a wrench that big, do I? I think the biggest wrench I have is 1.1 inch. Yeah, that'd be better. If I could catch some of that fluid and not dump out a whole quart of hydraulic fluid, that'd be better. Let me see if I can get a little canister or something in there to grab that. Can I even get this thing in there? It's highly likely that this whole plan's gonna miscarry. There's just gonna be a mess, I fear. Just when I was praising Caterpillar for their convenience, this is not convenient. I was warned by you guys working on these things was for the devil. I cheaped out on these ratchet wrenches. I've got the Crescent brand, and they are not to be compared with the offset snap-ons. Oh man, working on this heavy equipment is not for sissies. Oh, come on, careful. Yeah, that had been all over my floor there. It's not dirty hydraulic fluid. There was just a bunch of dirt in the bottom of that container. We have a problem. Tell me how this filter is going to fit in there. Am I missing something here? Or is the filter... What is all this? It's like tabs. I think I got the wrong filter. Yeah, we definitely got the wrong filter. Well, that puts an end to the service. Well, gentlemen, that's it for us. I guess it's too much to ask for someone, a parts department, to give you the parts that you need. I see this more and more all the time. Are you enjoying the decline of the West? Incompetence, lower quality, problems everywhere you go, things not available, no one around, poor service. It's just the way that it is. You know, I'm of two minds of this. It's frustrating in situations like this, but also, you know, I think what people are waking up to is that we are more than what we do for work. And for too long, in my opinion, we identify, and our only value as men is what we can produce as a utility. And more guys, and myself included, are waking up, there's more to life than just being a worker slave all the time. And so I get it. So I see that happening, but it's also frustrating. But that's, you know, maybe it's God moving to teach us patience and to focus our priorities on what's really more important. Because in the big picture, does it really matter? Apart from just money and time, my dad used to say that probably half of what a man finds to do throughout your life, about half of what you do, if you work in the trades or anywhere, if you do any sort of work, half of that time spent is going to be dealing with the incompetence of other people or making up for it or fixing shoddy work. I mean, wouldn't surprise me if it was even more than half. It wouldn't surprise me if it was 3/4 of what we do is fixing what other guys have done through shoddy work or just... what are you going to do? What are you going to do? The only thing we can appeal to is to heaven, right? Well, may God bless you and your families. We'll pick this up where we left off. Please keep us in your prayers. If you haven't already, if you enjoyed these videos, take a moment, click the thumbs up, and pray for us. We'll see you all on the next video.